Oh, slowly but surely we are inching along on the Hemi swapped D150. So since last time, since I pulled the motor last video, I have really just been kind of tinkering around with some small stuff. I'm going to go over in detail a little bit about the clutch master cylinder. So I did pull the stock one out just actually right now. The battery box is here because I was shooting power to these two connectors right here. I couldn't really find the wiring diagram, but I'm pretty sure I figured out which wire goes to the factory fuel pump. In doing so, I figured out that the factory pump was completely dead. So that's why the hat is out of the tank right now. It's actually hanging down underneath there. This tank isn't exactly the easiest to pull out on the ground. It's not hard, but it's just kind of annoying. And the tank itself actually has a crack in it. So right here, just kind of looked like a little line. I was like, oh, maybe it's, you know, maybe it's not cracked all the way through, but then I put a little bit of fuel in it, and of course it was cracked all the way through. So I ordered this stuff called, I don't know, Chem something, via Chem. I don't know, it was like 15 bucks on Amazon. It's supposed to be good for gas tanks, both metal and plastic, and it can seal up to holes like up to ½ inch in diameter. This thing I'm super excited about. I still haven't shared it with you, but don't worry, the video for this is coming out within a week of this video. I'm super excited. You guys, if you really know me, or if you just are about the same age as me, the colors that you see right here might already give this away. You might not know what kind of car it is, but you might get the gist of what I'm doing here. If you follow me on Instagram, you definitely have already seen it, because I think I posted 1 or 2 pictures of it as my story, just to kind of get people's reactions. And I took it to Cars and Coffee once. I didn't film a video. I just wanted to see like how the reactions would be, and it's awesome. Now, I kind of want to preface it that with, I didn't build this car for anyone else but myself, to be honest. I don't care if you don't like it. I don't care. I mean, I would like that if you like it, but if you don't like it, it's no sweat. You know, I'm not going to lose any sleep. But something I wanted to do for a long time, so I'm really excited about that. But now I'm going to go into a little bit of detail here with the clutch master cylinder. So this here is the factory master cylinder. It uses a separate reservoir that is mounted a little bit above it. This is not part of it. This connects to a little rod on the clutch pedal. Nothing crazy there. It has this plastic line that goes to this like plunger style piece here. So instead of like, I don't know, a cable pushing on the end of a clutch fork, there's a little plunger here that pushes out, and that actually pushes the end of the clutch fork. Unfortunately, this style will not work with the TR6060, and I will show you why. So if you're not familiar with the Dodge TR6060, I don't know if the Fords or anything are any different, but this is how their throwout bearing works. So their throwout bearing is hydraulic, and the cable comes in here. It's not a cable, it's a hose, but the hose and the fluid comes in here, and as you push this, it just expands the throwout bearing. So you can see now this is just a completely different style than what was in that truck. So the Mustang here, I believe, had a 2012 master cylinder in it. Don't quote me on that, I could be wrong, but I pulled it out, and here's what you have. Much different setup, a lot simpler. You have the reservoir part of the master cylinder itself. This bore diameter here is the exact same bore diameter on there, and in fact, this is what's crazy. This came out of a 2012, and that came out of a 1990. So you have 22 years difference. Sorry, math is hard. And this is how this mounts. So what you do is you put it in the firewall and turn it to lock it in. Well, this is the exact same configuration. Why fix something that's not broke? So I've already taken measurements, and that cable should be more than long enough to go ahead and reach the end of, reach where the fitting comes out of the bell housing. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this mounted first, and then from there, we'll continue on in the engine bay, getting little things tweaked so we can get the motor in. By the way, I don't think I've shown you the motor since it got back from the machine shop. So this is it. Heads freshly resurfaced. All the valve seats reground. All the valve springs are done. The cam is installed. The stock cam was definitely starting to wear out. You could see pitting on some of the lobes because it started to get into some of the lobe material. But the motor was gone through to make sure there was no metal left in there. So the motor is good. It actually looked very, very clean. That's what Kyle was telling me. He said this motor looked like you could eat off of it. This is the Holley, not the Holley pan, it's a factory Mopar pan, but we got it off of Holley because you need to run the truck rear sump pan because the Challenger's front sump pan will not clear. Yeah, so that's pretty much all she wrote for that. And I'm gonna go ahead and get the master cylinder installed in the truck, and then we'll keep moving forward. All right, well, it's in, but it's not exactly straight, and I'm gonna show you why. So when I put it in, like normally when you put something in like this that has to turn to lock, this is how you would put it in first, right? It would start at this turn position and then it would lock when it's straight up. However, the difference between this and the factory one is when you put it in straight up, that is its entrance position. So then when you get it in, you have to turn it and then it locks. So for now, this will probably work. I'll just keep it locked like this. It's straight up and down enough to where I could still fill it with fluid. It'll still work fine. I'll probably have this clutch line going over the steering column. But other than that, it's mounted. It's connected to the clutch pedal. Clutch pedal does work. It's just a simple, oh, sorry, this is all in the way. But it does go in and return and in return. So that's a pretty good step to getting this thing ready to go. Next, I'm going to cut open this looming here because I don't need the factory computer harness. I don't need the engine harness here. I actually don't need any of this. I don't need this bracket, which is like a, I think it's a factory like canister for the fuel tank. It's a lot of vacuum hoses right here. So all that stuff is coming out. I don't need the ignition coil. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and go through this, cut open the wiring, pull out a lot of stuff. I need to pull these factory mount brackets out. Actually, no, I do not. That is wrong. What I do need to do, however, though, is pull these mounts out because I have new mounts that are going in, and then I have the mount adapters that go on the motor itself, so it'll set down on these studs. But yeah, let's go ahead and keep on trucking. Well, it probably doesn't look like much, but we got that little smog canister out sitting there, and all of that wire, probably a football field's worth or more. It's kind of a mess over here now. I have a lot of these wires that go inside hanging over, because they're probably functions for gauges. I kept a lot of this as the lighting harness, and a little bit, there's 2 wires for the windshield washer pump and 2 wires for the AC blower motor. And then there's also some wires for the windshield washer, or the windshield wipers. And then you come over here, the starter wire, some of the other lights. Some of these are relays for like the fuel pump, probably like a blinker relay or something. So I'll have to go into more detail into that. But for the most part, the engine bay is definitely cleaned up a little bit, and I think we're pretty much ready to get the motor in. However, it is looking pretty ominous here, and I'm about to get super soaked. So I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap everything up for this video. The next video, the motor will definitely be getting installed, and maybe the transmission, I'm not sure. So pretty excited, especially about that clutch master cylinder, because now I can hook up the clutch. We'll have a drivable clutch. I was a little concerned how that was going to work. So far, so good. I need to pull the drive shaft out of the Mustang as well. I'm not sure if that's going to be the correct length or not. There's a chance it might be. So if it is, then I don't have to get a drive shaft made, save some money, and I can go ahead and start driving this thing sooner than later. And the last thing I know it needs is a fuel pump. So I'll be ordering one of those. So hopefully, you know, the next video, like I said, we'll get the motor in and then kind of discuss anything that's been ordered or happened since this video. Well, hopefully you guys are enjoying this build series. I am really excited that we're getting closer to getting the truck done. Huge shout out again to Holley and Hooker Blackheart for making these awesome swap parts. If you're interested in doing a build like this, I'll post the links for the parts down in the description below. And yeah, if you like what you see and you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. If you like the video, give me a like, and I really appreciate it. Until the next video, see you guys next time. Peace.